This is Algebra 1, Lesson 3.3. We're solving multi-step equations, beginning on page 145. Example number 1 is solving a linear equation. 1 half x minus 7 is equal to negative 10. To isolate the variable, undo the subtraction and then the multiplication. We learned how to undo subtraction. Remember, the inverse operation of subtraction is addition. So you add 7 to cancel out minus 7. Remember, when you add it to one side, you add it to the other side. Then we have multiplication of 1 half. We know how to cancel out multiplication. We divide by 1 half. Remember, dividing by 1 half is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So here it is, work the horizontal method. 1 half x minus 7 equals negative 10. Undo minus 7 by adding 7 to both sides. Here's the vertical method to go along with it. That'll cancel it out and just leave you 1 half x is equal to negative 10 plus 7 is going to be negative 3. Then undo 1 half times x by dividing by 1 half. Remember, dividing by 1 half is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal, 2 over 1. And that's why it's multiplying by 2 right here. Multiplying that by 2 and multiplying the right side by 2. Notice your order of operations when you're undoing stuff is to work backwards. I mentioned this before. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is the way you worked one side of an equation to simplify it. When you undo something, though, you work backwards. You work Sally and dear my, excuse, then please. And notice that's what we did first. We did subtraction first, and then we undid multiplication. And then to multiply that, 2 times negative 3 is, in fact, negative 6. On the back, try this one. 1 half x minus 5 equals 10. Take 30 seconds. Again, just like before, our goal here is to get x equals all by itself. That's still our goal, isolate x. You want to undo. Remember, now we're undoing. You work backwards. Any subtraction and addition. You see minus 5, you add 5. You do it to the left, add 5 to the right. 10 plus 5 is 15 is equal to, that part's gone, 1 half times x. There's no more addition and subtraction happening. Now you got 1 half multiplied by x. Remember to cancel out multiplication by dividing. We would divide by 1 half. Remember, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal, 2 over 1, which is simply 2. Multiply the left by 2, multiply the right by 2. X is left over 15 times 2. You should have gotten 30 for that one. Example number 2 is combining like terms first. Before you even look at moving anything across the equal sign, you have to make sure each side, the left side and the right side, is completely simplified. You have 8x minus 5x plus 16. You can put 8x and minus 5x together. And when you do that, you get 3x. So now you have 3x plus 16 is equal to negative 29. Do the same thing. You want to get x by itself. Look for any subtraction and addition first. You have plus 16, so subtract 16 on both sides. Negative 29 minus 16 is negative 45. Now you have 3x is equal to negative 45. Undo multiplication of 3 times x by dividing each side by 3. Negative 45 divided by 3. A negative divided by positive is a negative. And 45 divided by 3 is 15. So x is equal to negative 15. Again, working subtraction and addition first, or undoing it first, and then undoing division and multiplication. And again, on the back, this problem. 2x minus 9x plus 17 is equal to 4. Take about 30 seconds. Okay, before we try to bring anything across the equal sign, remember, ignore it and make sure the left side is completely simplified. We can combine 2x and negative 9x to get negative 7x plus 17 is equal to negative 4. Again, your goal is the same. You want to get x equals all by itself. We don't have that. We have something multiplying by x, negative 7, and we got something adding to x plus 17. So undo the addition and subtraction first. Plus 17, you undo it by minus and 17. Whatever you do to the left side, do to the right side. Negative 14, negative 4 minus 17 is negative 21. You still have negative 7x on the left, and then 17 minus 17 canceled out. Then undo multiplication and division. That says negative 7 times x. Undo that by dividing by negative 7. That keeps you with x. If you do it to the left, do the exact same thing to the right. A negative divided by negative is a positive. 21 divided by 7 is 3. X is 3. Example number 3 is using the distributive property. 9x minus 5 times x plus 6. If you multiply, remember, same thing holds true. You want to make sure the left side is completely simplified before you try to move anything across. Negative 5 can multiply by x and 6, or it can distribute. Times x is negative 5x, and times 6 is negative 30. Once you have that, it's still not simplified completely on the left side. We can still combine 9x and negative 5x. And when we do that, we have 4x minus 30 is equal to negative 10. Now it's completely combined on the left. You can't put 4x and negative 30 together because they're not like terms. So now you want to undo your order of operations. Undo minus 30 by adding 30 to both sides. Add it there and add it on the right. That's just the horizontal method directly below it. It cancels out and leaves you with 4x on the left is equal to 20. And then undo 4 times 20 by dividing both sides by 4. And that gives you x's value. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay, that's showing all steps for the first method. Showing all steps, everything involved. Let's look at it if you do some of it mentally. 9 minus 5x minus 30. 9x and negative 5x together is 4x minus 30. Add 30 to both sides, and you have 4x equals 20. Notice it just didn't write in the plus 30 for both of them. And then divide both sides by 4 to get x is 5. That's method 1, showing every single step, and then doing some steps mentally. No steps were skipped for method 2, none at all. Everything was shown other than the actual arithmetic itself. Each solution step is there, and that's perfectly acceptable. You get the same x equals 5 for both. Okay, on the back, do this one. You can use method 1 or 2. If you're not really comfortable with it, I suggest you write out every step till you get comfortable. Let's take about 45 seconds on this one. All right, let's see how we did. Remember, before you try to bring anything across, you have to simplify the left side. 12 can multiply by x to get a positive 12x, and it can multiply by negative 3 to get negative 36. We still have 4x on the left, and we still have equals 28. So we don't have it quite simplified on the left yet. We can still put 4x and 12x together to get 16x. You still have minus 36. You still have equals 28. Now your goal is still to get x all by itself at the end. So x equals. Undo addition and subtraction first. You have minus 36. Add 36 to undo it. You add it to the left. Add it to the right. 8 and 6 is 14. 3 and 2 is 5. Plus 1 is 64. So 64 equals 16x. Get x by itself by dividing by 16 to cancel out the multiplication. If you do it to the left, do it to the right, divide by 16, and 64 divided by 16 is 4. X's value is 4. Example number 4 is multiplying by a reciprocal first. So we have 24 is equal to 3/4 times x plus 7. You can distribute 3/4 times x and 3/4 times 7. That's totally fine to get 21 over 4. But that's not an easy number to get rid of, 21 over 4. So instead, you can cancel out 3/4 times that by multiplying by its reciprocal 4 over 3. If you multiply the right side by 4 over 3, 4 will cancel out 4, 3 will cancel out 3, and you'll be left with x plus 7 on the right. That's great. Then you multiply the left side by the same thing to balance it out. Remember, anytime you do something to one side, you have to do it to the other side. The number 3 goes into both of these, into itself once, and into 24 8 times. So we're dealing with a lot smaller numbers. 8 times 4 is 32. Is equal to x plus 7. Undo plus 7 by subtracting 7 on both sides now. Minus 7 and minus 7. And x's value is 25. So anytime you have something that needs to be distributed and it's a fraction like that, it may, not all the time, but it may be beneficial, and it probably will be, to multiply by its reciprocal first. Again, one more time. Let's do this one on the back. 12 is equal to 3 over 10 times x plus 2. Multiply by the reciprocal first. Take 30 seconds. Okay, we have 12 is equal to 3 over 10 times x plus 2. Again, you can distribute 3 over 10, but it is easier to multiply by the reciprocal 10 over 3. That will cancel this. That will cancel this. Whatever you do to one side, which that's going to leave you with, is x plus 2 on the right. Whatever you do to one side, you multiply by the other side, 10 over 3. The number 3 goes into itself once and into 12 4 times. So now you have 10 times 4, which is 40, is equal to x plus 2. That's a whole lot easier to deal with. The goal is still the same. You still want x equals all by itself. Undo plus 2 by subtracting it. Whatever you do to one side, do to the other side. 40 minus 2 is 38. So x's value is 38. And then you have some checkpoint problems. Let's do number 1 real quick. It says 3 minus 4x equals 19. Undo. Now this says 3 minus 4x. The minus in between doesn't tell you how to undo it. The fact that this is positive 3 does. It says positive 3 or plus 3. You subtract 3. If you subtract it from the left, subtracted from the right. Negative 4x is left over is equal to 19 minus 3 is 16. Undo negative 4 times something by dividing by negative 4. If you do it to the left, do it to the right. A positive divided by negative is going to be a negative. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 40 is equal to 29 plus 1/3 times x. That's positive 29. Undo that by subtracting 29. If you do it to the right, do it to the left. Subtract 29. 10 minus 9 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. Is equal to 1 over 3x. Now it says 1/3 times x. Remember, in order to undo times something, you divide by 1/3. It's easier to multiply by its reciprocal. Its reciprocal would be 3 over 1, which is 3. If you multiply to right, multiply to left. 3 times 11 is 33 is equal to x. Distribute first. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7 equals 49. Get x by itself. That's still your goal if you need to write it first. Undo subtraction and addition first. You have minus 7. Add 7 to both sides. You add it there. Add it here. You get 56 on the right. You still have 7x on the left. Gets x by itself. It says 7 times x by dividing by 7. You do it to the left, do it to the right. 56 divided by 7 is 8. X is 8. Number 4, distribute. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 2 times negative x is positive 2x is equal to 30. Again, you want to get x by itself. It says minus 6 or negative 6. Undo minus 6 by adding 6. If you add it to the left, add it to the right. 2x is equal to 36. Get x by itself by undoing 2 times something. Divide by 2. If you do it to the left, do it to the right. 36 divided by 2 is 18. X is 18. 2/5 times x plus 23. Multiply by the reciprocal first instead of distributing. So if you multiply both sides by 5 over 2, this will cancel this out and leave you with just x plus 23 equals the number 2 goes into itself once and into 8 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Get x by itself by subtracting 23. And x equals negative 3.